William Shakespeare was an English poet, playwright, and actor. He was born on 26 April 1564 in Stratford-upon-Avon. His father was a successful local businessman, and his mother was the daughter of landowner. He is often called England's national poet and nicknamed the Bard of Avon.
King Duncan's generals, Macbeth and Banquo, met three witches on their way home. The three witches, also known as the Witch Sisters, give Macbeth a prophecy that he will be given the title Thane of Cawdor and he will become the king of Scotland, while Banquo's son will be king. The two men wanted to hear more, but the witches disappear. King Duncan then knights Macbeth the Thane of Cawdor. In return for his victory in the recent battles, then the king decided to make a brief visit to Macbeth's castle. Lady Macbeth received the news from her husband about the prophecy that the three witches gave him. She then vows to help Macbeth to become the king by any means she can and convince Macbeth to kill the king.
Macbeth's return is followed almost at the same time that the king arrived. Macbeth and Lady Macbeth then plan the assassination together later that night. While all are sleeping, Lady Macbeth has given the guard drugged wine. Macbeth then kills the king and his guards. Lady Macbeth leaves the bloody daggers beside the dead body of the king. King Duncan's sons, Malcolm and Donald Blaine, flee, fearing for their lives. But they are nevertheless blamed for the murder. Macbeth then becomes the king of Scotland, but still got a feeling of guilt and insecurity with him. He arranged the assassination for Banquo and his son's fiancée. Banquo got killed, but his son escaped the murderers.
At the celebration ceremony, Macbeth seized the ghost of Banquo and made the people in the ceremony feel uncomfortable with his strange manner. Lady Macbeth then tried to calm him down but failed. Macbeth seeks out to the witches and learns from them that he will be safe until the wood comes to his castle. The witches told him that he don't have to be afraid of a human that is born from women. But the witches also told him that the Scottish will be successful under Banquo's son rules.
Macbeth started on a run of terror and many were killed, including Macduff's family, while Macduff himself has gone to join Malcolm at the court of the English King Edward. Eventually, Malcolm and Macduff decided to lead an army against Macbeth. Macbeth feels safe in his castle until the wood is moving towards him. The situation is that Malcolm's army is carrying branches from the forest as camouflage for their assault on the castle. Meanwhile, Lady Macbeth was attacked by her own guilt. She walked in her sleep and gave away her secrets to the doctor. She then committed suicide.
Macduff challenged Macbeth, who is confident that he will never be killed by a man who is born from a woman. But Macduff was born from a Caesarean section, so he could be able to kill Macbeth. Macduff won the battle and brought the head of Macbeth to Malcolm, who declared peace and crowned king.
The conflicts about this story, they are both internal and external conflicts in Shakespeare's Macbeth. The important theme of nature of evil is addressed in both. The main external conflicts are the ones between Macbeth and the people he increasingly sees as obstacles to his ambition, including Banquo, Duncan, Malcolm, and Macduff.
The important characters, Macbeth and Lady Macbeth, who betrayed the king to take the throne, King Duncan, who got killed by Macbeth, Malcolm and Donald Blaine, sons of King Duncan, three witches who gave Macbeth and Banquo the prophecy, Macduff, who killed Macbeth at the end.
The theme of this story is tragedy, including ambition, power, and violence. It shows The destruction wrought when ambition goes unchecked by moral constraints.
These are quotations that our group chose. Out, brief candle. Life's but a walking shadow, a poor player that starts and flicks its hour upon the stage, and there is heard no more. It's a tale told by an idiot full of sounds, and furry signifying nothing. Said by Macbeth. Fair is foul, foul is fair. Howl through the fogs and fills the air. Said by 3 witches.
Macbeth opens with a literal bang. Thunders crack and 3 witches appear. They announce that they're searching for a Scottish nobleman and a war hero named Macbeth. Then fight off while chanting a curse that predicts a world gone mad.
Towards the end of the play, Macbeth reflects on the universality of death and the futility of life.
It reflects the abuse of power. Could be comparing to the politics today. For example, our Thai government. The junta came into power with the way of coup d'etat, promising a better future for the country and an election. They said that they will not be in the power for long term, but instead, they have tightening their grip into power and block the others who thought differently.
Hey, I'm Cliff, and these are my notes to the Fortress of Bookatoo! All hail Macbeth! Shakespeare's classic play set in medieval Scotland and partly based on a true historical account charts the bloody rise to power and tragic downfall of the warrior Macbeth.
Yeah, and it's timeless because it depicts how man's conscious decision to descend into evil and tyranny in the name of personal ambition can lead to massive disorder.
Right. And it begins in the Scottish countryside, with 3 evil witches who plan on meeting Macbeth.
Fair is foul and foul is fair. Hover through the fog and filthy air.
They were also known as Weird Sisters for obvious reasons.
In Old English, weird means fate, you jerk.
That's what I meant! Meanwhile, there's a rebellion in Scotland, and a wounded soldier tells King Duncan and the Thanes of Scotland about the great hero of the battle. At first it was like, oh no, we're gonna lose! But then Macbeth was like, oh yeah? Boom! He kills the rebel MacDonald and saves the day! But the Thane of Cawdor sided with the enemy.
Execute Cawdor and arrange for his title to pass to Macbeth. We need more loyal men like him.
Side note, Scotland's warrior culture was particularly brutal. Scotland! Ah! Shakespeare didn't write this play, or any plays. He was a fraud. Who had the education, the money, and the motivation? Shakespeare couldn't have done it all by himself. He was just a puppet. The Earl of Oxford was the puppet master. Go see Anonymous in theaters October 28th. We've all been played. And back to the play. The witches meet Macbeth and his trusted friend Banquo with some strange greetings.
Thane of Glamis.
That's me.
Thane of Cawdor.
That's not me.
And King hereafter.
What?
Oh, yeah? Well, what about me?
The descendants of Banquo will be kings.
That'll be the day. Hey, Macbeth, King Duncan just made you the new Thane of Cawdor.
Well done, Macbeth! Since Macbeth is King Duncan's cousin, King Hereafter doesn't seem out of reach. But when King Duncan announces that his son Malcolm will be next in line for the throne, Macbeth realizes that he may have to be proactive about getting the kingdom. When Macbeth's wife reads his account of the witch's predictions, she becomes as ambitious as, well, a man.
Unsex me. Fill me from the crown to the toe top full of direst cruelty.
Hey, honey, King Duncan's gonna crash here tonight. Is that cool?
Excellent. You must kill King Duncan and take your rightful place on the throne.
Macbeth's sense of right and wrong is now in conflict with his own ambition. Lady Macbeth, on the other hand,
Welcome to our most hospitable and loyal castle, my lord.
appears to have no problem with murder.
I can't kill Duncan. I have no spur to prick the sides of my intent.
Stop acting like such a woman. We'll kill him and then blame it on the servants.
Yes, dear. Oh, boy.
Oh, hey, buddy.
Hey, Banquo and his son Fleance. What's up?
Let me ask you something. Are you having any cursed thoughts lately?
No, but let me ask you something. Would you ever do anything to make the witch's predictions come true?
I think about it, but I'm loyal to the king. Anywho, check you later.
Then Macbeth sees a ghostly dagger and is convinced that it's a sign that he's supposed to kill Duncan.
What have I done?
Relax. I'm gonna go smear blood on the king's servant, so it looks like they did it.
When the king's body is found by the Thane Macduff, Macbeth must quell suspicion.
The king has been murdered! Sorry you had to hear such coarse language, my lady.
Yeah, it was the servants. I found them all smeared with blood, so I murdered them, you know, out of loyalty.
Oh boy.
The news spreads.
Duncan is buried! His sons are under suspicion because they fled to England, but the kingship of Scotland has passed to Macbeth!
Call it!
Huh. Maybe Macbeth killed the king. I wonder if the witch's predictions about my sons will come true.
Hey, I'm gonna throw a loyalty banquet. You coming?
Yeah, sure, my lord.
Wait, why did I murder the king if Banquo's heirs inherit the throne? Kill Banquo and his son.
Yes, okay,
As Macbeth's thirst for power grows, Lady Macbeth starts to have doubts.
So we killed Duncan, but now that we're king and queen, I don't think we're any happier.
But Macbeth no longer needs his wife to spur him to action. His ambition pushes him so far as to kill his best friend. So when Macbeth hears that Fleance survived, he starts to go bananas.
Hey, buddy!
A ghost! Let the earth hide thee! Thy bones are marrowless!
My husband's not feeling well, so I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. Sorry.
Everyone's here but Macduff! He's plotting against me!
And he was. The Thanes discuss how Macduff fled to England to join forces with Malcolm for an overthrow.
Scotland can't have a crazy king!
So Macbeth returns to the witches and demands to be shown visions of his future. They're not pretty.
Beware of Macduff.
You won't be killed by any man born of a woman.
So no worries about Macduff then? Right?
You won't be vanquished until a forest comes to you.
A forest? Pfft, that'll be the day. What about Banquo's heirs? Will they still inherit the throne?
Hey, buddy!
When Macbeth hears about Macduff's trip to England, he hires assassins to kill Macduff. And when they find him not at home, they kill his family.
Macbeth!
Meanwhile, Lady Macbeth is being torn apart by guilt for what she's done.
I smell blood. Gotta wash off the blood.
As your doctor, I'd advise you not to kill yourself.
The Thanes of Scotland are closing in.
An army's approaching!
And your wife is crazy.
Army? But the weird ladies implied that I'd be fine.
See? Camouflage. Pretty cool, huh?
Bring it on!
Your wife killed herself.
Look! The forest is coming toward us!
And Macbeth realizes that the witch's predictions have come true.
Well, just goes to show, life is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. So if I die, I'm gonna die like a man! You were born of a woman!
Macbeth's army has surrendered the castle and Macduff is hunting Macbeth!
By the way, have you seen my son?
I was born of a cesarean section.
Ah, man, dang it!
Technically not of a woman.
He died well, with valor, which is more than we can say for this guy. Scotland has its freedom!
By the grace of grace, we will perform in measured time and place.
And that's Shakespeare's ray of hope. Good can triumph over evil because the madness of tyranny will eventually be its downfall.
Yeah, I know that now. I sure wish someone would have given me the heads up earlier. I just said heads up!
Funny 'cause it's you.
Yeah!